She has been in your homes via television. As far as I'm concerned, she's our local celebrity. She is a television personality, a young woman who has a large following. Royal is her title. And I see no reason why she should not be bestowed with it. Ladies and gentlemen, women of Buxton, men of Buxton, look and take heed. I present to you the wonderful, the stealthy, Royal Ramsey! Miss Malika Natasha Ramsey! Give it up, Buxton!
Buxton! Good night! Flags! Buxton, let me see your flags! I'm moving now, come on, this is a lively rally! Nice, y'all look nice. Buxton, good night. Buxton, earlier I didn't already win this stage. I just want to remind you, I know a speaker told you that already tonight, but I want to remind you, we ain't win this thing yet. You got to vote for us to win this thing. Right, we got to get them out of power in order for we to win this thing, right? So y'all ready to vote? Let me hear you say it is time. It is time, Buxton. All right. Buxton, the next thing I want to tell you about what that comrade asked me about why I was so gloomy. I was gloomy, I was unhappy, and I was angry. I was angry because I'm in a community that is still being labeled a troubled community. And Buxton, it is time. It is time for us to no longer accept that. Buxton is not a troubled community. I was angry because I look around and I see a village that is still being stigmatized. Buxton, do you like being stigmatized? Well, it is time for you to stop being stigmatized. And the only way that can happen is if we support and vote solidly for a Partnership for National Unity, Alliance for Change. Buxton, I was angry because I looked around and I saw a community that is still being discriminated against. I was angry because I looked around and I saw a community that is being ignored by the PPPC cabal. And since the PPPC cabal has been ignoring you for the past 2 decades, it is time for you to ignore them. Buxton, are you with me? It is time for you to ignore the PPPC. Buxton, and I know this one is going to hit home, but just bear with me. I was angry because I looked around and I saw a community. A community where your loved ones have been murdered, and until now you have not gotten justice. Buxton, do you want justice for your murdered loved ones? Buxton, do you want criminal elements sent by a certain government out of your community? Buxton, you gone quiet on me, man. You got to stay with me tonight. Buxton! Right, good. Stay with me. Buxton, those are the things. So those are the reasons that I was angry earlier. And tonight, I place the blame for that squarely at the feet of the People's Progressive Party civic government for the state of your community. The state of your community that the Partnership for National Unity, Alliance for Change will fix providing you vote for us solidly on May 11, 2015. Buxton, your village is just one example. Just one example of the communities across this country that the PPC has neglected in the past 2 decades. This is a clear case of discrimination. Yes, my sister's saying it here. The I-Pass Buxton, but you gonna cut out the I-Pass come May 11, right? You ready to cut out the I-Pass Buxton? I must remind you, however, and this is a man, I got to repeat something that one of my colleagues said. I think it's Colin Haynes said. He didn't really want to talk about Jagdeo. But unfortunately, I got to talk about Jagdeo because he's a disrespectful piece of, well, I can't say piece of, because I ain't named Bharrat Jagdeo. I got to talk about Jagdeo because one of the main reasons that your community is like this is because for the last 2 decades, of course, we know Bharrat was president for a significant amount of time. And of course, he has ignored your community. And the reason I got to address this is because Bharrat Jagdeo is like the Ebola virus. You know, a few months ago, we all were afraid that what would happen to our nation, we would be wiped out if the Ebola virus came together. Because the Ebola virus, you can't ignore it. So you can't ignore Jagdeo because he is like the Ebola virus. No matter how much you try to ignore Ebola, it's a disease determined to get to you by any means necessary. And you have to take extra precaution to safeguard yourselves from it. And if you contract this disease, this Ebola disease, there is a very slim chance of your survival. And that's Jagdeo for you. So Buxton, I want to tell you tonight that that is exactly what happened to Buxton under Bharrat Jagdeo's miserable, dark, and gloomy tenure as president of this great nation. His presidency definitely impacted Buxton like the Ebola virus and destroyed your community. You agree with me? Is it Jagdeo who destroyed this community? Buxton, I can't hear you! Did Jagdeo destroy your community? Good. But I hear somebody saying it right in front of you. It wasn't he alone. He had help from the drug lords. You imagine we had a president and a government who supported drug lords and sending them into your community. Buxton, y'all tell me if I'm lying tonight. I'm lying? Talking the truth. The APNU will start the truth. But remember, Roger can't start to talking out the secrets, right? And we know they got more secrets. But don't worry, APNU+AFC after May 11 got exposed all of those secrets. And to quote the Prime Ministerial candidate of a Partnership for National Unity, Alliance for Change, after May 11, 2015, it didn't only be that it is time, it can also be jail time. Say it with me, Buxton, it's gonna be jail time. Buxton, I can't hear you, jail time. Jail time for the criminal elements in the People's Progressive Party civic government. And you know some people say we have to start from the bottom up. No, we started from the top down. So Buxton, we need you to come out and vote. We need you and you need us because we're going to bring the change and we're going to bring the betterment. But I am also confident that the PPC ain't getting our vote. Alliance? Not a single vote the mustn't get from Buxton. Not one. Come out in your numbers and vote for us strongly. Some of you may think, man, you really got to vote. My grandmother can vote. My grandfather can vote. No. Every one of you are important. Every single vote counts. And you're not only voting, you got to be watchful, right? You're ready to be watchful, Buxton? When you finish voting, make sure that you monitor every single thing because they're desperate and they're planning to steal these elections. But we ain't gonna allow them to steal these elections. still on Jagdeo a little bit because after tonight, I hope I got to talk about this Ebola virus on another platform. You imagine this bare-faced former president, this man who is irrelevant, he's trying to stay relevant. So he went to Stortville a couple days ago and he told the people that in 2011, no, I really beg, and I can even deal with it because I know some of my colleagues there will come and they came to deal with it. But he went to Stortville and he told the people in Stortville that in 2011, a partnership for national unity, we stuffed ballot boxes and we bullied some of the polling agents. But tonight I want to say, what a man does, so he thinks. That is what he does. So now we're trying to turn it around on the APNU. But Buxton, tonight I know that you know the truth. You know the truth, and that is what they're planning to do. That is why they're trying to distract you. The other truth is that Bharrat Jagdeo has become delusional, that he's now believing his own lies. And the only place that we need to send him is the crazy house. Right? So there's what we're going to send him on May 11th. Because when APNU+AFC win these elections, he can go crazy because he got nothing else to turn to. You agree with me, Buxton? Let me tell you what the truth is about 2011. It was Bharrat Jagdeo and Donald Ramatar's pawns. They sent the little pawns. And we know one of them well. You know Kwame McCoy, right? They sent Kwame McCoy and some other people, like I think was Lumumba, and they sent them to bully our agents, our polling agents, and they sent them to intimidate our polling agents. But tonight I want to tell all of them, I'm looking at NCN because they got the people monitoring all of these rallies. Because y'all scaring them, you know, they're afraid. So they got to look back at all these rallies and public meetings to decide what they're going to send next to intimidate you. But Buxton, I know you're not intimidated. You weren't afraid. Tonight I am putting Bharrat Jagdeo, Odinga Lumumba, Donald Ramatar, and Kwame McCoy on notice. This year, we ain't taking bullying, so don't come to the polling agents and the polling stations and bully me. And Buxton, let me tell y'all something tonight. If this little fine piece of woman up here don't take bullying from nobody, none of you should take it from them. You hear what I say, Buxton? No bullying. Good. I know you're peaceful. You didn't take your bad, but you could do it in a very peaceful manner. Right, good. You hear the comrade saying he ain't sleeping, so nobody should sleep. I got one other thing to say about Bharrat Jagdeo tonight before I come off of here and tell you about some APNU+AFC policies. Jagdeo, you are nothing but a has-been. Stop trying to steal a march. It is our time. It is time for APNU+AFC. It is time for the youth. So Bharrat Jagdeo, you need to sit down with your irrelevant self. And that's all I'm going to say on Bharrat for the rest of the day. Buxton, I love your community. And the reason I love you, Buxton, one of the reasons I love your community is because your community is a rich one. I want to remind you tonight about the richness of your community despite what the naysayers say. You have lots of potential. Your agriculture potential is bountiful, but you have not been able to capitalize and benefit from that potential. Of course, because the PPPC has no respect for you. They don't care about you, and they don't want to see your community thrive and prosper. Comrades of Buxton, tonight, I want to tell you that these are the things that must be changed. It is time for these things to be changed, and APNU+AFC will change these things for you. You got cheer when I tell you we can change these things, man? Y'all know how we change these things? And of course, you know the change could only come through the ballot, right? No violence. through the ballot. We're being stern and we're being assertive. Them bullying we, but at the same time, we ain't gonna be violent. We ain't giving them an excuse to call off these elections. You hear me, Buxton? Tonight, though, you know they have a saying that you can't keep a good man down and you can't keep a good woman down. I am telling the people tonight they can't keep a good village or a good community down. And Buxton, you are a good community. Had your drainage and irrigation problems been fixed, Buxton, you would have had food supplies to all communities, for all communities on the East Coast. I am confident with that, because I know your history. And you would have been able to supply foods not only for East Coast communities and for your own community, but to other parts of the land. As I talk to you about the drainage and irrigation problems, again, I am forced to talk about a man named Donald. And on this case, I got to quote Dr. Rupert Rupert. Rupert Rupert is calling not King Donald, but Donald the Absurd. Because it's got to be an absurdity for anybody like Donald Ramatar be the head of a country. But I also like to call him Donald King Liar. And the reason I'm calling him King Liar, he lied to this nation in 2011 just to get votes. And I know it's not our votes to get, but he lied to get those votes. And he lied by telling you that he will hold local government elections soon after he became president. And until today, you are waiting for local government elections. And that is why you can refuse in this state. But not APNU+AFC. We are going to give you control of your own community. We ain't coming from Georgetown and tell you how to run your communities. We will have, and in this case, I always like to say, I speak on behalf of Brigadier David Grange, who will be the next president of Guyana. When I say to you, I speak on behalf of Mr. Grange, so when I say to you that you will have your local government elections soon after we win the regional and general elections come May 11, 2015. And this ain't no backpedaling business like Donald. We don't backpedal. And y'all know, y'all could attest to this. Y'all just watch David Grange on television every week. And the same thing he said in 2011 is the same thing he said now. Because he's a man of his word. He's just talking for votes. He is a man of his word, so he will have those local government elections. And of course, he will be supported by the soon-to-be Prime Minister of this country, Mr. Moses Versami Nagamutu. Y'all ready for David and Moses? Buxton, a partnership for national unity, Alliance for Change, under the leadership of Brigadier David Grange and, of course, Moses Nagamutu, is committed to supporting and restoring Buxton and all of the East Coast communities. We have good things in store for you on the East Coast. And I just want to take some time just to call out some of them, because you know we don't only like to come on these platforms and beg for your votes. We come in and we asking for your votes nicely, and we're telling you why we want your votes and what we're going to do for you. Oh man, the tractor man, this distracting my audience tonight. Alright, go to pass. Now y'all could listen. Listen to the things that APNU+AFC will do for you. Cost of living. I know it's killing all of y'all, because it's killing me. And y'all see how my little piece, so you imagine what it's doing to me. Right? Cost of living killing anybody out there? APNU+AFC will reduce that cost of living. And we don't tell you we're reducing it. Here is how we're going to do it. We will reduce the cost of living. And this is not no bluff talk. I'm reading from an APNU+AFC document tonight. So this is no bluff talk. This is done there in black and white. APNU+AFC will reduce the cost of living by reducing the value-added tax on food, clothing, and housing materials to build a house. These are necessities. We know that for a fact because you can't live without food, clothing, and shelter. These are the necessities, and we want every one of you to be able to access them easily. So come, give 3 cheers for the fact that we can reduce the cost to live in Buxton. Well, this next one is a big one. Crime. APNU+AFC will improve policing. And we talking about putting all the little them things were the calling community policing groups, the things that he likes to play with. You know, he didn't have much of a childhood, so he created these community policing groups so he can get a little place. And around Christmas, he can get them batons and badges and so on. I'm not knocking the people who really work at Bush Ride. I'm talking about road because he's a fraud. Don't worry, the community policing. He's supporting my project. Let's just block that for me. You know he's a failure as a Home Affairs Minister, right? All who take he's a failure as a Home Affairs Minister. So APNU+AFC will improve policing, suppress gangs, and protect residents against violent crimes. Only recently, Moses Nagamusu told a crowded bar ticker, and he just tells them this, he means it. Gun amnesty, so people can get a chance to bring them in, so that we can have safe communities, right? Y'all with me? Jobs. We know you need jobs. APNU+AFC will improve skills and provide training in order for you to expand not only employment, but self-employment opportunities. And of course, this way, you're going to be able to hire people, right? So you can work for yourself. I know that every young person's free to work for themselves. Schools. David Granger and APNU+AFC will provide books, uniforms, snacks, and transportation to ensure that every single child, hear me good, every single child completes their education at the primary level, not like what we have now. While your children punishing, pray your children sitting pretty in private schools, right? We're going to look after your children. And finally, Buxton, your services. APNU+AFC will improve your roads, street lighting, drainage, of course, and as I mentioned before, irrigation, electricity, water supply, and even your garbage collection system. Because when people say Georgetown is a state city, Guyana is a state country. It's not Georgetown, it's all over. Garbage piling up in every community and every region. So we're looking after Guyana alone when it comes to garbage. We're looking after the entire Guyana, not Georgetown. Buxton, I know you are tired of the empty promises. So I'm not here to promise you anything tonight. The things that I just spoke to you about, the things that I told you about, that's a plan. A partnership for national unity, alliance for change, doesn't make promises. We make plans, and you will be involved in those plans. With those plans, you will get what David Granger has been talking to you about since 2011, and that is a good life. A good life for all Guyanese. Comrades, but I also must take this opportunity to warn you. You will get the good life you deserve, but it won't happen overnight. Remember, it's 2 decades of mess we're cleaning up, right? So you got to be a little patient with us. Don't expect a miracle, but at the same time, you got to call us out when you think we ain't doing it right. You hear me, Buxton? Call us out when you think we're not doing it right, but also be patient as we clean up 2 decades of damage and destruction. Buxton, I have to go tonight. I can't talk to you any longer. I trust I didn't bore you. Did I bore you, Buxton? All right. But before I go, I want to remind you that it is time. And I want to leave you with a few words. 1. Do not allow your village to be victimized and stigmatized any longer. So you got to vote. Do not allow Ramatar and his PPPC band of thieves to take anything else from you, Buxton. So on May 11, 2015, vote for David. Let me see all who voted for David. I want to hear you too. On May 11, 2015, vote for David. Vote for Moses. Vote